think we're live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everyone's having a wonderful week. You can see the early birds are here. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Let me go ahead and get these tweets out so everybody knows we are good to go. Perfect. All right, that's good, that's good, that's good. Let's get it. Mr. Needham, good morning. Nancy, good morning, good morning, good morning. Eric, my man, what's going on? Good morning. Edgar, good morning, let's go. This alarm always goes off. All right, we got CPI numbers. Let's take a look. Let's see if the market's going to react to it here. Getting a nice little pop. Let's see. Oh, they changed this damn app. It drives me crazy. All right, jobless claims came up a little bit higher than expected. Gotta wait for CPI numbers now. There we go, we got some CPI numbers here. Give me 1 second. And they share the numbers here in Discord. And we got jobless claims. All right. So that is that. M. Frost, good morning. Shalom. Guten Tag. Dr. Suss, good morning. Oscar, my man, what's going on? West Adventures 1996, good morning. Don, good morning. Eric, good morning. Mr. Alvarez, good morning. Legit Movers Chicago, good morning, good morning. Raj, good morning. Mr. Snowboarder, what's going on, man? G Money, what's going on? Good morning, good morning. All right, so we have some CPI numbers came out month over month, year over year. And we had the initial jobless claims that just came out as well. Looks like it's getting a pop here in the market. We'll see how it kind of holds up. If it's going to kind of hold up throughout the entire day. All right, so we'll wait a few minutes for everyone to kind of tune in here. It's around 8:32 right now. We'll wait about 3 minutes. Once we get everything rolling, once we get everyone tuned in, we'll get right to it. All right, all right, all right. Let's go ahead and post this on Twitter anyways. All right. Sky, what's going on? Good morning. Francisco, hey, hey. Priscilla, good morning. Vic, good morning. All right, guys. 8:33 a.m. here. Getting a perfect bounce off of that 422 level here. Just like clockwork. It almost doesn't even matter what these CPI numbers seem like, to be honest. Algos are turned on anyways at these 422 numbers, but nice little push here. We'll see if it holds up. And we'll get right back to the daily chart here. We'll start with SPY. All right. Perfect. All right. One more minute and we'll get it started. Get it kicked off at 8:35 a.m. Should be good to go here. Yes, everyone that is here, go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys can show some love to that little thumbs up. Simon, good morning from Toronto. What's going on, my man? Not bad weather down here, huh? All right. Got about 30 seconds here and we'll get it kicked off. Somebody just commented on my my CPI numbers tweet. Elaborate what it means, bro. What the fuck? It's funny. All right. Here we go, 8:35 a.m. All right, let's get right to it. Perfect. So, we'll start with the SPY. Obviously, we'll do a little recap here, and you know, we see this, right? We lost the 20, we lost the 50, we lost the 200, and again, these moving averages are all constantly coming in the way. We've talked about them. We talked about them on the way up, and we are talking about them on the way down. Look, every time we were above those moving averages, they acted as support. This also goes with any stock that you're trading. Once price action is under those lines, then they're going to start acting as resistance. And we can see the 20 and the 50 are acting as resistance. 20 is acting as resistance. So something to keep a note on. We'll see how we're going to react if we ever get back to this 433 area, or is it going to roll over or clean back up. So we need to keep an eye on these levels here, okay? But currently, let's dive into the 15-minute time frame. Let's put my levels back on here. Awesome. All right, so what are we looking at here? So this 422.80, this 422 level was a key area that I was keeping an eye on. You can see even yesterday in the pre-market, we held that level and we pushed higher. Here we are right now currently with those CPI numbers. It looks like they're trying to pop it back up based on the numbers here. So what are we looking at here? If we are able to hold these levels, we're going to get that push back to this 322, 324 level. All right, clearly we see that. We're getting a pop right back to this level, okay? Now if we break that, we're looking to get these pushes back into these areas, and ultimately the high of 428.75 can be tested if we get back above this 424. Why? Because we had this move yesterday, we saw rejection at this 428.75, and that's going to be the key pivotal area. If we continue with this strength upwards and we maintain above these two levels, we could very easily test this 428.75. Now that's going to be the vital area. If we do get above this, then you're going to get a nice push to the 430.95, but that level right there needs to be the level that we keep an eye on if we do push back up to this here, okay? For currently what's happening, this 428, 422 level needs to hold in order for us to even attempt these higher figures, okay? Now what happens if we roll over? If we lose this 422, 422.80 level, we're going to roll back down to the 421, 420.45, 419.30, and then we really have to keep an eye on this 417, right? That 417 level is going to be the level that we need to keep an eye on, 417.90, 417.33, and I would expect this thing to kind of hold at this level, because if it does not, then we really open up. And if we kind of zoom back out here, let me show you what I mean. This 417.90 level is a key level to kind of hold. If we don't hold that, we're going to go into this little pocket into this 415. You can see this 415 level is an area that we held before, and ultimately under that, these pre-market lows that have been holding is the 413.92. Ideally, I would kind of want this to kind of hold above this level, but if we do roll over, there's lots of setups that can work on the downside, and either way, I'm okay with either direction that this decides to take, right? That's why I always say don't really have a bias when you're trading, have your levels, and if things really pan out, great, you have both directions that you can trade, okay? So again, this 422 level is going to be that vital area that we need to pay attention to in regards to the SPY, and we really have to see what it's going to do. Are we going to roll over and go under, or are we going to hold and continue pushing higher? So keep an eye on these three levels here: 422.80, 422.59, and 422.11. All right, now let's get to the Qs. Let me zoom out to the daily chart. Perfect. So very similar look to the Qs, but one main thing that you're noticing here, as we've sensed overall weakness, we have, you know, first of all, the 50 has crossed the 200 moving average now, which is something we talked about last week. And all moving averages, with the exception of the 200, are kind of pointing downwards, okay? So again, every pop into these moving averages are going to be something that we need to pay attention to and see how they're actually going to hold up, right? So we see this key area down here at 316, and we've kind of bounced up over these 316 levels in the last few trading days, all right? So let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame here. Let's put on our levels. Perfect. And what are we looking at here? All right, so with the Qs, let me zoom out. This 329 level is that level to watch. So just like the SPY, we had that 422 level, the 429 level is the level that we're keeping an eye on, okay? This 429 level is going to be vital. If we lose that, we can see, sorry, let me put up my mouse here. We can see this area right here was held yesterday in the pre-market. It held again right at open when we dipped to that area and we pushed. And here we are again, right here at this 329, okay? So right there, and now we're right back at that level again, okay? So we need to keep an eye on this 329. Roll over, now we're gonna see a test of this 327. You can see it was respected here, respected a little bit here, and a little bit right here. 327, not gonna be a very big level, but the next one down is 324. And under that, we got 320, which is going to be a key one because these are the lows that we've had dating back to March 8th, right? We've respected it pre-market, respected it during the day. And if we lose this 320, it can get pretty ugly and we can come down to that 316 area, okay? Now, again, if we decide to hold that level, if we decide to stay above this 329, we're going to have to see if this momentum kind of continues and that 332, 334, and ultimately these highs again, just like we have on the SPY, very similar, right? 335.53, 336 are going to be the levels that we have to keep an eye on for exhaustion. So if we continue grinding upwards and we open up and we grind upwards, what's going to happen here? Is volume decreasing? Are we seeing a topping pattern that might roll over, right? And does that trend line break to the downside for us to continue moving down to the 335 area, okay? So we have to keep an eye at this level. Will it get exhausted or will it plow through this area and kind of consolidate and give us a bull flag area? Okay. So those are the key things to look at. Again, 329 and 422 on the SPY are going to be something that we need to pay attention to see how we're going to pan out for the day being. All right. Now, with that said, I'm going to jump into the free alerts. Give me 1 second. All right, so the first one on the list is Mara. Guys, right before I get into this, if you guys have questions about a ticker, make sure you guys write it out for me. Let me know if you're day trading it, if you want to swing trade it, if you want to calls, puts. That way I know what you're looking at and I can kind of help you out. All right, so with Mara, 2420 is what I'm looking at to take it to the upside. We broke that simultaneously with that little news that we had just now. Okay, so this is the 2420, and the downside is that 2370. Okay, now I'll explain why this is. So we can see clearly why I like this is we have a gap here, and we also have this gap to the upside that happened from last night, right? So these are just very simple gap plays. If we break this 2369, we could come into this gap area at least down to this level right here, okay? So that's something to kind of pay attention to. And if we break above the 2420 naturally and, you know, without the pop that we had through CPI just now, we could very easily try to fill the upside gap. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm paying attention to. If we break under the 2369, I'll be looking to take this to the downside. And if we break back above the 24.20 at market open, I'll be looking to trade the upside on it. All right. Again, a lot of people want to know, how do you trade these? So I'll explain again in the first 5-10 minutes. If the trigger is happening, I'm taking the move right here at this trigger as soon as it breaks. I want to take this momentum drive down because oftentimes with strong volume, we come down, consolidate here a little bit, and then roll back over. I want to take the trigger right out of the open if it's within the first 5-10 minutes. Okay. Now, if time goes on, we kind of chop around up and down. Let's say an hour has passed, an hour and a half. Then what I'm looking for is the breakdown, retest, and over here is where I want to get involved for the move back down. Okay. I don't want to take the trigger right here because the volume is going to be low and we might not get that momentum straight down, and we might just pop back up and roll over. Okay. So that is Mara. The next one is HD. So this one's a little interesting here. HD on the daily chart, we can see it popped up, failed to kind of continue higher here and kind of rolling back over. We have this key support here at 315.60. If we get under that, we have a nice pocket that we can fall to the downside. Okay, so let's take a look here. HD, if we get back over this 320.30 level, great. I think we can see momentum back to the 324. But what I'm really paying attention to here on HD is this 316 level. Okay, we need to stay under this 316 level. If we do, we do have room to kind of fall. Like I said, that level is going to be vital. If it remains under this level, or if we open up a little bit above and then break back down, I will take this trade to the downside to give it room to fall as the daily has room on. Okay. On the upside, need to get over that 321 level, which is kind of yesterday's little pivot high here. However, not ideal for me. There's too much congestion in the way. Really watching this one under the 316 level. Okay. Next one is Lyft. All right, Lyft, this one I'm keeping an eye on under that 37.50 level. And I think it's already gapped down here. It looks like it's made a move already. So the reason behind this trade was simply this, guys. We have this yesterday's low right here, and we have this pivot high. Okay. What's important here, again, is that gap that we had. All right, we had the gap from here. It popped up to here. So if we are under this 37.48, if we were slightly above it and we broke down, we had this nice gap to at least this 36.40, 36.20 that we could have taken advantage of. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm paying attention to. But it looks like it's kind of sitting at around 37.40 right now, 37.30. So we'll have to see how this opens up. If we use this 37.50 as a resistance area, great. We can kind of use it to roll back over and take advantage of it if market decides to roll over as well. Okay, so these are the top three I'm looking at. I'm gonna go over Crwd as well. I think a lot of people have questions about CRWD, but right now, if you guys have questions, go ahead and post them in the chat. I'll go over a few of them here once I see the messages come in. All right, so CRWD, this one's interesting. Nice little run here in the pre-market. Lots of upgrades on this name as well. Ideally, I would want to see this back above this 194 level. Okay, if we get above the 194, the next big resistance on this is sitting at around 201. So we should see at least from 194 a pop to that 200 level, big psychological number level right there. So we'll pay attention to this over the 194. And then obviously, if we lose this pre-market low of 186, we could try to fill that gap. But lots of upgrades on this name. They're all north of 200, so 230, 240s, etc. But again, doesn't mean just because the upgrades analysts are saying 230, 240, that's what it's going to go to. You just have to be aware of kind of what's happening along all over the place. Upwork 2024 calls leaps for long. Upwork. Let's take a look at Upwork. Next well. So yeah, I filled that gap coming down to this support right here. It's bouncing off perfectly. I mean, if you've done your research and you understand what the company does, how they plan to grow, what their future outlook is, great. You want to get involved to buy leaps right now for 2024, which is 2 years out, then by all means. But I mean, I like I've always said, I don't like buying options for my long-term plans. I rather kind of scale into a position using shares. But if you want to buy 2 years out and you think within 2 years, this will pop back up to those areas around, I don't know, I'm guessing if you're buying 2 years out, you want to see at least 55 on this. You could try it. I mean, that's a long-term plan, and I can't really answer that question for you because you have to do your financial research on the company, see if it's worth your money to invest. It's not really something short-term that I can tell you whether it's going to be good or bad. Hey, can you explain how can you tell when a stock is going to reverse when looking at volume? So reversal patterns, it's different. You have to pay attention to the actual intraday time frame and see if you're able to identify some sort of a reversal pattern, okay? And with that reversal pattern, there are certain key levels that you need to pay attention to if they break to the upside or whatnot, okay? So it's not so much how can we tell. It's not that we can just simply look at something and say it's going to reverse. We have to wait for some sort of a reversal to present itself. If you just do a simple Google search on reversal patterns, you'll see the double bottom, sometimes the triple bottom. You'll see lots of patterns out there that you can use to kind of spot these reversals, and then that's where the volume comes in, and you have to pay attention to, hey, if we do have this, for example, double bottom that sets up right here at support, and we're looking for this neckline break, does the volume come in right here when that neckline breaks, and does the volume increase to confirm that reversal? Okay, that's what you need to pay attention to. Hopefully that answers your question. You can't just base a reversal based on volume. You need to have more things that come together: a reversal pattern, an area of support, a moving average, and so forth. For retest, what time frame do you wait for candle close or candle pattern before entering? So for the retest, I'm assuming you're basing this question off of the alerts. Let me go to, for example, Mara. So for the retest, I mean, you're looking at, it's depending on what time frame you want to trade. Some people use the 5-minute time frame and wait for a close under. I personally usually only use the 2-minute and the 1-minute when I'm day trading, and also I just look at the 5-minute for kind of confirmation. So it's not so much that it needs to close for me. It's more so that we break down, we see the breakdown take place, and at the retest, I will get involved on that trade because it gives me the better risk to reward. So if we break down, pop back up, I'll get involved right here, risking right above it. If we pop back up and it doesn't hold, then great, I'll get out for a smaller loss. Versus if I chase the move down here and this pushed up all the way up here, I have to wait for this entire move to take place, and then I get stopped out right here, right? If I take the trade right here against this resistance, then I can take the anticipation of confirmation for it to break. Okay. Snow day trade. Take a look at Snow. Are you looking for a long side or downside trade on this one? I think with Snow, you really have to wait to clear this area of 210.20. If you do, great. You have room, you have momentum to push it to the 219.80 level. Why? Because you have that straight sell-off from the other day. You have some resistance clearly visible right here at 210.20. If you can clear this 210.20 level, great. You can see that push upwards. But if this comes back down and loses yesterday's pivot low, you could see this thing fall down to those areas right here, right? Why we can clearly see there's bounces at these areas, and that's what you need to pay attention to. So under the 201.60, you're gonna fall to 196 and then 189. CSX 35 call. Let's take a look at CSX 35 call for March 18th. So I'm guessing you're trying to swing trade this. CSX. All right, so I think we took advantage of on CSX from 35.40 when it broke out here. Had a nice push right into this resistance, and we got that inverted hammer. From that inverted hammer, we sold off. So now it's currently sitting at, let's take a look at the time frame, close to, I mean, there's no pattern on the daily for you to swing trade this. So if you're looking to swing trade this, and by you taking March 18th calls, I'm assuming you are trying to swing trade this. I would wait for it to get closer to the 33.17 level. You can see clear support right here at the 33.17 level. Then I would possibly try to get involved with the calls and see if we get that bounce off of this. But there will be no pattern in what you're doing there. It'll simply just be a dip buy to support after hitting highs of 38, coming down to that 33.17, which is pretty close to it here in the pre-market. Might need another leg down at that 33.17, then you can possibly get involved on those calls. But again, like I said, it's just simply a dip buying move and not so much a pattern on the daily. Can you talk about Daku today for earnings? Daku? I think Daku has earnings today. Yes. I mean, there's not much to talk about. It's an earnings play. There's nothing I can tell you which direction it's going to go. But you know, given that it's at all-time lows here, a very positive, any positive aspect on this is going to pop it back up. Again, like I've always said, any earnings you guys want to play, you have to use small size. You can't make or break the bank here trying to hit home runs, trying to become, trying to grow your account with earnings plays. That just doesn't work. That's not something you could do. And if you do it once, twice, 3 times, even 10 times, I guarantee you the 11th time you're going to burn your entire account. So not something I advise. If you want to trade it, great, go ahead, flip a coin, calls or puts, choose whatever you want, and then use small enough size that if it goes down, which is most likely going to go one way or the other, but your options most likely are going to end up being 0, depending on which one you choose and if you're right or wrong. Good morning, BA for puts. Let's take a look at BA. So BA broke down, popped back up into this 183 resistance, looking like it's settling back down again. Let's take a look at the 5-minute time frame. I don't mind this one. Need to get under the 174.40 possibly. I just really want to clear these areas. Pre-market levels are very vital. If we clear this 174.30 level, I think it does come down. You have also airlines in general being a little weak, right? So something to make note of. If airlines in general all do kind of roll over, so will BA. You have an inverted hammer here. The key here was under that 34 level on UAL. And that's kind of what I was paying attention to. Let's see if it gets under that 34 level. If it does, we'll sell this back down to that 32.93. Same thing with BA. If we get under that 174.50, then we can see this thing sell back off at least down to this 168, possibly. Okay, so I don't mind that chart at all. Looking for a trade on Indu. It's always somebody that's got to ask about these. All right, wait, no, this one's, yeah, there we go. So this ticker went from $4 to $86 and sitting at 33. You guys know me, I don't fuck with these bullshit stocks. This is the low float runner that everyone has been kind of pumping all over. Gas related name, and to be honest, I'm not really sure what Indonesian energy has anything to do with what's going on in the world right now. But it is what it is. It's a low flow energy name. They're pumping it. Looking for, I don't know what you're trying to do with this Indo, but at the end of the day, once this pans out, you really have to trade your patterns and your levels, right? You have kind of this rising wedge that fell into this moving average here in the pre-market. That could have been your little entry for a little quick 6% pop. You have to be really careful with these, right? You just make sure that first of all, don't take a trade within the first 5-10 minutes of the open, because these low flow runners can rip up and down, and you can get stopped out. So just pay attention to that and make sure that you wait for time to kind of pass and wait for some sort of a pattern to kind of get involved. Okay, you need that pattern to give you confirmation on the trade, and you can't just take it blindly. All right. Next question here, I think. QCOM to fill the rest of the gap under 147. Let's take a look at QCOM. Rest of the gap to 147.88. 147.88 seemed to be the prior day's low. I don't really see a gap, so I'm not really sure what gap you're referring to. You fill the rest of the gap under, under 147.88. Yeah, I mean, once it gets under that level, then it does have a gap on the daily until towards that 138 level. But right now, it's currently sitting up here at these 153 levels. So maybe set alerts at around this 148 level, see what it does. But yeah, under that 148 level, and if it does continue rolling over, you can see it's using the moving average as its resistance. Then it does have this little gap that it can fill in this area right here, right? I think that's what you're talking about. So under this, you could come down to fill that gap on that side from back then. So definitely something to keep an eye on. But right now it's too far up there, so you're gonna have to set an alert for when it comes down to that level. All right, guys. So if you guys are still tuned in here, go ahead and smash the like button. I'm not sure. My YouTube keeps saying I'm disconnecting for some reason. But if you guys are here, go ahead and smash the like button. Remember, every Thursday I do go live on YouTube. And with that said, I got to get back into the room. I appreciate every single you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions and I missed your questions, just make sure you DM me, whether it's on Twitter or Discord. I always answer my DMs. And if I can help you guys in any way, I definitely will. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys all next week right here on YouTube. Have a wonderful day. Trade safe out there.